A very good afternoon. You're watching PM News. Our top story this hour. There was more outpouring of grief at Thursday's session of the Marikana Commission of Inquiry in Centurion. Widows of the slain men concluded presentations of the last moments of their loved ones. The earlier part of the day was for the families to honor and remember the fallen men of Marikana. They provided insight into the devastation and financial difficulties faced by their loved ones. The widows placed the blame for their deaths squarely on the shoulders of the police and Lonmin. The families say they're hoping for government assistance and reconciliation. Also on the stand was Captain Veerasamy Govender. He was part of the police's Joint Operations Command Center in Marikana. The inquiry continues. Now, for more on today's proceedings, we are joined on the line from the Commission venue in Centurion by our reporter, Nozintombi. Nozintombi, very good afternoon to you. Let's start by understanding the saga of people collapsing at the Commission yesterday.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Alicia. It certainly was a heartfelt commission and proceedings that we saw yesterday. We saw some of the widows overcome with grief and sadness and collapse in a fit of hysterics. And emergency personnel had to be called in to try and help resuscitate one of the women that had become unconscious. So it certainly was an extremely sad and a profound day for the widowers to share a bit of insight into their loved ones, what their last few hours were like before they were killed on the 16th, recounting how they found out that their loved ones were killed, recounting the horror that they went through before going to the mortuary and having to identify their bodies. You know, one of the men who was making his presentation, whose brother had died on the 16th, explained how when he went to the mortuary to go and identify his brother's body, he saw one of the miners who were killed by police on the 16th with close to 17 bullet wounds on his body, and that was just one person that he didn't know, and it wasn't his brother. So it certainly was some grisly detail and extremely heartfelt and heart-wrenching.
Nozintombi, now take us through today's proceedings. What transpired at the Commission today?
Today, for the better part of this morning, we saw a continuation of the widows who didn't get an opportunity to conclude their presentation take center stage. And it really was a repetition more of what had happened yesterday. And we did see that there were some women who were quite overcome and started crying. But luckily, it wasn't as bad as it had been yesterday. But we did get a status update about the 4 women who were taken to hospital yesterday. They were then discharged this morning, and they were able to attend the proceedings and able to give their presentation for their loved ones. And once that had happened, we then continued on with the evidence of Captain Veerasamy, who was part of the police's Joint Operations Command Center in the weekend of the 10th up until the 12th of August 2012, and he explained what had transpired with the miners going to the Lonmin offices on Friday to ask Lonmin to negotiate with them, Lonmin refusing to negotiate with the miners, and then them going to the NUM offices on Saturday. And he just explains that he did not see the crowd as being particularly aggressive over that weekend, and he did not feel that at that point it was necessary for him to get POPs involved. But he's obviously been questioned by this from the Lonmin legal representative to say he should have foresawn that the situation was going to get as intense as it did, and that the people who died on that weekend should not have died had police foreseen that the situation would have escalated into what it escalated into.
Thanks for that. That's Nozintombi, our reporter covering the Marikana Commission of Inquiry out in Centurion.